So I want to tell you guys something, and this is very important. It's going to be short and to the point, but Joshua said something one time. Joshua, most people would know, Jesus. Joshua said one time something very profound that a lot of people they don't understand because most people don't do this. Joshua told his disciples that there was no one who chose to follow him who would not, if they gave up home, property, fields, family, spouses, would not be rewarded in the age to come, the age that they were living and the age to come. And it was in basically response to his disciples telling him, we gave up a lot to follow you. So they were kind of seeking validation, vindication of why they were doing what they were doing. Now, as a child of Yah, this is something that we need to take to heart when it comes to being Father's children, Yahweh's children. There are things as a true child of Yah that you may very well give up in the pursuit of doing his will. Things that hurt, things that are painful, things you don't want to part with. And it's hard. And it's very hard not just giving those things up, but being the loved one of somebody giving something up to serve Father and watch them have to give something up. But here's something that I know for a fact. It's something I have seen in my own life reflected very well. Whatever you give up for Father, whatever you don't have, whatever you lose, it will, in some way, it is going to pay off. And that is the reason why that is so important. The very first mitzvah, the very first commandment, in Deuteronomy, it's expounded on a lot more. And it's actually in amongst the Israeli community in ancient times, and even today in the Jewish community and Israeli circles today, those who observe Judaism, it's called the Shema. And basically, as it's recorded in Deuteronomy, it is, Hear, O Israel, Yahweh, your Elohim, Yahweh is one. And you will love him with all your heart, all your mind, all your strength, and all your soul, etc. There's a reason why the Father tells us this. It's because physical things and material things, they're great. Father wants us to have things that we take joy in, because when we take joy in something, we glorify him when we're enjoying something, when we're having fun with something. But if we have to, for whatever reason, in Father's service, to be his child, if we have to give that up, whether it's permanently or temporarily, if we don't love him more and most above all else, then if we have to give something up, it's going to really tear us up inside really, 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 really badly. And look, we're human. So even if you do love Father more than you love that thing, it's still going to hurt. That's a fact. It's a sad fact, but it's harsh truth. As a human, you can love Father with all your heart. You can love Yahshua. But if you have to give something up physical, something you like or enjoy, because it's Father's will, it's going to hurt. But I do know this, and I've seen this, because there's things I've given up, there's things I've done without. If we give up for Father, if we can let it go, I know, as sure as I'm standing or sitting here in this chair right now, I know Father will give back to you. Not because you're owed, but because through whatever we give up for Him, He will give us back something greater because it glorifies His name. A lot of times, what we give up is the key to unlocking something greater that He will get far more glory through. And then, of course, we'll benefit from it. But I know that as a human, giving up things physically that we have, it is hard. And sometimes we cry. Sometimes we have a little while where we feel a little depressed, or maybe a lot of it depressed. And I'm not going to give you a hard time for that because, I get it. I've never been a materialistic person. Granted, I've never really had anything material I cared about enough to where if I lost it, I would care. But there's other things that I have had to give up or do without that does mean a lot to me. And it hurts. But it is worth it. I met a gentleman who has a lot of stuff. He has got, he's got a lot. He's the nicest guy, but he's got a lot of stuff. He's very materialistic. And when you get a lot of things, a lot of stuff, when you amass a lot of material possessions for yourself, it becomes harder and harder and harder and harder to be able to detach yourself from those physical things and not make your happiness dependent on that stuff. And I think as I meet more and more people who are very affluent, who are very wealthy, who have a lot of stuff, I think I'm understanding more and more and more now why that Father so wisely had Yahshua say, as recorded, that it is easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of the Shemayim, heaven. And I get now, I truly believe I'm seeing more now than ever why. Because even if we don't mean to, we as humans can pin so much of our happiness and our joy on a physical thing that we can touch, see and touch, that it's very easy for our love and our adoration and our desire to become affixed on that thing, attached to that thing, over Father, a being that we can't see, we can't perceive, we can't touch, beyond our five senses. There are people who have a lot, who are wealthy. They could have everything, and they could still love Father more than anything. Yaldad, David, he was someone that Father enriched very greatly. He had a lot. In fact, in Divrei Hayamim, in Chronicles, and even in Melachim, in Kings, in Scripture, it's recorded that toward the end, and at the end of Yaldad, of David's life, that he was old, full of days, and he had a lot of stuff. Father enriched him. He had a lot of women, a lot of wives. He had a lot of stuff. But he never lost sight. He loved Father passionately to the end of his days. So he did it. It can be done. But it is very hard. And the weirdest thing was after I met this gentleman, as nice as what he is, very nice, but hearing about all the stuff he has, I thought to myself, I was like, if I was the kind of person where I had a whole lot of stuff right now, a whole lot of materialism, a whole lot of things, I can see why it is so important, no matter what you have, to make it a point every day, consciously, to be mindful of Father and how much more important He is than those things that can disappear just like that. Shaul, Paul, the apostle. In his letters, there are things that, because he was a human, like anybody else, he was fallible. There are some things that Paul believed in that I don't agree with. Other things I do. One of the things he says that he taught that I do agree with, that I like, is he said, of all the things that he once had that he gave up to serve Father, to serve Yahshua as his immediate master, and then ultimately Father, Yahweh, as his ultimate master, that everything he had to give up to do that, he counted everything he gave up as being worthless for what he was given in exchange. And I do agree with that. Because every physical thing we have, we can have all the money in the world. We can go out with that money and we can buy everything we want. But yeah, I keep coming back to this. And it just, man, it hits me more and more and more all the time. When we have a lot of money, a lot of stuff, and we go out and we buy something with our money, we're ultimately just looking for that next high. We're thrill seekers. But no matter what we buy, what we get, the burst of joy that we get from buying a brand new shiny thing, it only lasts for a little bit. And then it's gone. And then we're trying to buy something else. We're trying to get something else. We keep chasing that thrill. Father is truly the only thing we have. He's the only thing we have where the joy we can get from him is perpetual. I don't have a ton. There are a lot of things physically I don't have right now. But there's a joy that I feel every day. There's a joy that I get that almost doesn't even make sense. But the joy is knowing that I have him and he loves me and he's proud of me. And I can feel it in me. I can feel that. And it feels good. And it brings a constant source of joy. When Father makes you the happiest, when he gives you an eternal spring of joy, it actually enriches the joy you have in everything else you do. Because now when you do get something, you don't look at it as just being a thing or something you got with your money or something that you picked up. Now you look at it as something that Father gave you himself. He enabled you to have it. So now every time you enjoy that thing or you partake in that thing, now you're seeing and remembering it and recalling it as, well, Father ultimately let me have this. And it means something more to you that way then. Does that make sense? So whatever it is that we don't have or we give up for Father, yes, it is hard. And trust me, as best as what I can with things I've given up. I know it's hard, and I don't give you a hard time for that. But I can guarantee you this. What you don't have materially or what you lose materially, Father is going to fill that empty void with something only he can provide and give. And that's himself, his love, his presence. And it's something that no one can describe. I can't describe it and I can't explain it. It's something you can only understand once you feel it for yourself. So if there's anything that you've given up right now for him, whatever it might be, I hope this helps you because it has helped me.